I didn't set out to buy a haunted house. I wanted a Victorian house. Victorian houses are hard to find. They're a lot of money, and I'm broke, so it was a difficult thing to acquire. We had looked at a number of properties ranging from $280,000 in the boons. Could have got a really cool Gothic church for $140,000 in the middle of nowhere. Very cool place, not what I was looking for. This place turned out to be amazing. It was one of those things that had to be because it wasn't even advertised. We went to look at one house and it wasn't what I was looking for at all. Nice house, wasn't what I was looking for. And the gentleman who was selling it said, oh, I have another one, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. And I was like, what's wrong with it? Like, immediately you hear not my cup of tea, then what's wrong with it? And he's like, well, you know, it's kind of like Gothic architecture, and it's got a big tower and a widow's walk. And I'm like, oh, really? No, not what I'm after at all. Shocked me. So, and we went up to look at the house, and my first impression of the house was it looked like the Smurfs met the Addams family, because the entire outside of the house was painted blue, and I'm talking like recycle bin blue. We're not talking a pretty periwinkle blue. We're talking like the recycle bins you see at the side of the street. Picture an entire Gothic manor house painted in that color with yellow and white trim. It was intense. But once you got past that, I could see past that to the architecture that was there. It was amazing. When I first looked at the house, it was like, I fell in love with it immediately, as did my partner. But there was a sense to the place that was really sad. And anybody who's sensitive would understand what I'm talking about. You walk into a place, it could be new, it could be old. The air feels really light and happy, or it feels really oppressive and not a nice place to be. Welcome home. This is what it was like here. Walked in, it was like, oh my goodness, this is a really sad house. In any house that has a spirit presence, there's a feeling about it. It can be a new house, an old house, whatever you like. You can walk in, the feeling can be light or the feeling can be oppressive. When we first did the tour of this house with the real estate agent, there was a very sad feeling, very heavy, very oppressive, not violent, and I didn't feel threatened in any way, but there was definitely a feeling of sadness and, you know, unhappiness about the place. We went away kind of feeling that feeling, not really sure, do we really want to buy this place? It's, you know, I don't want to end up with something I spend a lot of money for it. I really can't live there, and you see all kinds of shows like that where people move in and they get stuck with the place. We arranged with the real estate agent to come back a few months later to have another look at it, and yeah, there was definitely a feeling about the place that was really sad, especially at the top of the stairs, on the landing at the very top of the stairs on the second floor. There was when we first encountered a female presence, an older woman. She sort of portrayed herself, not visually, but, you know, mentally. We could get an age of, you know, she showed herself sort of mid-60s, like hair pulled back, glasses that came on and off, on and off, on and off. Don't know whether she needed them to read or she just didn't like wearing glasses. This is sort of the image my partner and I both got from her. And that was sort of the sense of it. She was worried about the stairs. What are you doing in my house? Like, why are you here? I'm really sad. And that was the end of it. So we didn't really worry too much about that, because it's not sort of a demonic kind of entity. It's just a spirit that's unhappy. What was interesting about that spirit with us is that as we progressed towards buying this house, and it was no small feat. It was a year in orchestrating to buy this house. The closer we got to, okay, the money's in place, the dates are in place, the moving trucks are in place, okay, we've basically dotted the I's and crossed the T's, that feeling in the house began to lift. So each time we would come here to, you know, have a building inspector come in, the city come in, next inspector, next lawyer visit, next walkthrough, every time we came through, that feeling was lighter and lighter. It's as if the spirit knew, okay, these people are buying the house. Things are going to change here. And by the time we actually moved in, the feeling here had been completely different. It was no longer oppressive. It was no longer sad and overwhelming that you'd want to cry. It was very light and very airy, and I've never had that oppressive feeling since we've moved in. Not once, not ever. I've never had anybody that's staying here complain about feeling heavy or heavy-hearted or sad or any of that. That feeling is gone. in addition to and along with Canada's Most Haunted, we had a number of medium encounters. The first one actually wasn't even in the house, but before I bought the house, through a friend of a friend who I don't even know. She lives in Arkansas, and she had contacted me through email through this friend, wanting to know all about the house. She was having all kinds of visions and things, and she was pretty accurate on this stuff regarding the house. Like, as time went on, I was able to substantiate much of what she had said. The most interesting thing that came of this was she had said in one of her visions of the house, she had said that there is a hidden treasure, and old house, hidden treasure, it's great. She cautioned me though. She said, before you get all excited that there's like wealth in the house, she said, a hidden treasure to me could just be a child's toy that had been lost because it's valuable to the child. So she said, try to keep in mind that the hidden treasure could be nothing at all of value to you, but to somebody it is. Fine. So I retain all her information that she gives me, and you keep it in the back of your mind. A year later, we purchased the house, we move in, I'm doing some work in the back of the house. I'm up on a ladder, 14 feet or so above the ground, and I'm thinking, for whatever reason, I think to myself, I wonder what she's talking about. I wonder what that hidden treasure is. I don't verbalize it, I think it. And right here, on this side of my head, I hear a woman's voice say, the house is the treasure, is what she says. So real was that voice, I actually looked to see who was beside me to realize there's nobody beside me because I'm up on a ladder. Interesting. As I said, the house was painted blue, so I thought, oh, maybe that's what she means when we get all the paint off there, get the brick back, maybe we're going to uncover the jewel that is the house. I forget about that for a little while. Canada's Most Haunted comes in, they come in with two mediums, one to sort of collaborate with or dispute what the other one is saying. Very interesting. They all go around the house, they do their separate interviews and separate investigations on their own. I'm sitting in this room here with one of the fellas. We weren't really talking about the house at all. We were just talking about so how did you become a medium, and do you like the cheese dip, things like that, right? And very relaxed conversation. And I said to him, I said, oh, I just remembered something. I'd like to ask you a question. And he looked at me without any emotion. He said, you want to know about the treasure in the house, don't you? That was enough to blow me away right there. Good guess, maybe. Did he read my mind? Yeah, maybe. That's fascinating in of itself. It would be a short read, but anyway. The fact of the matter is, I want to know about the treasure of the house. And he kind of looked up at the ceiling, and then he kind of mulled it over, and he said, the woman of the house wants me to tell you that the house is the treasure. And he took a sip of his drink like he just told me the weather was raining outside. It was amazing. So yeah, we've had some mediums come through. Pretty amazing stuff that they've had. They have substantiated things, clarified things. Just an amazing all-around experience to have them here. So amazed were they with the information that they got from the house, that they've offered their services anytime I want. Like, if I want to have them back for an overnight, they're coming and they're excited to be here to do it because it was just such an interactive situation that they had going here. It was absolutely a brilliant night with them. Well, thanks for dropping by and checking out the video here. Hopefully it's inspired you to buy my book, Whitechapel Road. It's available on Amazon.com. Yeah, you can check it out on any of the links at the bottom of the page. And thanks very much for stopping by again.